Peace to everybody. This is about Jussie Smollett Bombshell pits Obama chiefs of staff against one another. And as you can see here is Jussie Smollett with one of his attorneys, Patricia Brown. The Jussie Smollett saga has driven a wedge into Obama world. Oh, well. In yet another strange twist, the troubled actor's case was pitted two key figures in the former president's White House, who happened to be political heavy hitters in Chicago, against one another now that charges that Smollett faked a hate crime have been dropped. So now there's a lot of two key figures in the that were in the former White House, and of course they're hard hitting at each other, and of course Chicago's corrupt as usual, and then they it's all twisted around and everything. On one side is Rahm Emanuel, the tough as nails outgoing Chicago mayor and former chief of staff to Barack Obama. On the other is Tina Tejan, a Chicago attorney and Michelle Obama's former chief of staff. So Rahm Emanuel, of course, he's big mad as usual that he wants Jussie Smollett in prison for a very long time with all these or alleged fake charges. And then of course you got Tina Tejan. She's one of she's a Chicago attorney and Michelle Obama's former chief of staff, who is now Jussie Smollett's one of his attorneys, while the latter's role is cloaked in mystery. Emmanuel has been straight to the cameras about what he thinks of the decision to drop the Smollett case, a day after he called that stunning move a whitewash for justice. The mayor filmed during an appearance on ABC's Good Morning America. So little old Robbie Manuel still boo-hooing. Well, who cares? He should have just not butt into anybody's business but his own, but instead he wants to butt into everybody's business, try to slander Jussie Smollett, and I do believe Rahm Emanuel need to go have several seats and shut up. That's what he needs to do. This is actually making a fool of us, of all of us, the mayor said, especially in a city that embraced not only him as an actor, but more importantly, the values of being whoever you are, whoever you love, whatever your background is. You have a home here. He took that, turned it around, and tried to self promote himself. Now, why would Jussie Smollett self promote himself? Really? Emmanuel, Mayor Emmanuel Rahm Emanuel, I'm sorry. He's just so hypocritical. He doesn't have remorse for anybody at all. Here in the picture below is Tina Chen. She was former chief of staff for Michelle Obama. Emmanuel is now considering suing the actor to recoup some of the money the city wasted on its investigation. The Chicago mayor says he wants to recoup close to $150,000 in funds that were spent on the Smollett case after all charges against the Empire actor were dropped following 16 hours of community service and an agreement to forfeit his $10,000 bond. So now the mayor wants to sue Jussie Smollett. Oh, please give us a break, Mayor Emanuel. Now, Jussie Smollett, Jussie Smollett forfeited his $10,000 bond to the city of Chicago. Isn't that enough? And Jussie also did 16 hours of community service, so that was 2 days worth, and that was it. But but the mayor of Chicago is not happy with that. He wants $150,000 back after allegedly wasting all that time into the alleged fake case. Meanwhile, the former First Lady's chief of staff has been quietly advocating for the troubled actor behind the scenes, so she really didn't say much. She was just being quiet, and that was all she was doing. T-Jen reached out to Cook County State's Attorney Kim Fox just days after Smollett reported the alleged attack. So, yeah, she did reach out to Kim Fox just days after the Smollett reported the alleged attack. And of course, as you can see here, the two knuckleheads that are boo-hooing about, and of course you can see Rahm Emanuel, and of course there's Eddie Johnson behind him, and Rahm Emanuel is wants to sue the actor Jussie Smollett. I I don't think he would get very far with that one. I wanted to give you a call on behalf of Jussie Smollett and family who I know they have concerns about the investigation. T-Jen wrote in a text message to Fox. The Chicago lawyer also gave Fox's number to a relative of Smollett's who was concerned about the Chicago police's handling of the investigation and hoped to have the case handed over to the FBI. So T-Jen was sent Kim Fox a phone number, and also well, she was concerned about the investigation after Kim Fox recused herself from being on this case. Fox, who later recused herself from Smollett's case due to her contact with the family, took the concerns to Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson, and as you could, like I said, she recused herself because she got in contact with one of Smollett's family members, and it took took the concerns to Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson. They had no doubt about the quality of the investigation, but believed that the FBI would have a tighter lid on the information. Fox told the Sun Times, adding that Johnson was originally receptive to the idea. So the case would have gone to the FBI, but it didn't. So, and that's what she told the Sun Times, and of course, that Johnson was originally receptive to the idea. So I guess he must have had an idea to give it to the FBI, but that never went to them because with the charges being dropped and the records are being sealed permanently. Police spokesman attorney Guglielmi, or whatever name that is, however, said that while the FBI was involved in the investigation from the start, Chicago police never considered handing the case over to federal investigators. So, yeah, so the Chicago police never gave it to the FBI or nothing. Because, it's all a cover up, and it's just a mess with these Chicago police departments. Smollett reported on January 29th that he was attacked around 2 a.m. on his way home from a sandwich shop. Smollett said two masked men shouted racial and anti-gay slurs, poured bleach on him, beat him, and tied a rope around his neck. He claimed they shouted, "This is MAGA country," a reference to President Trump's Make America Great Again campaign slogan. Smollett told police he could see that one of his attackers was white because he could see the skin around his eyes. So the with the attacker, Jussie Smollett said the guy was white, but for some reason it pointed to the two brothers who are black, and I don't know why the story had changed like that, but Jussie Smollett was on his way home from a sandwich shop that night, and there was a rope around his head, around his neck. He was beaten, poured bleach on, and everything else. And as you can see here, here is Kim Fox, when she recused herself from the case. Soon, though, the tide shifted, and investigators accused Smollett of making the whole thing up because he was unhappy with his pay on Empire and believed the publicity gained up from the incident would promote his career. Smollett plays the gay character Jamal Lyon on Empire. So they just still believing he blame. I mean, being blamed to make things up is kind of ridiculous, but the tides have shifted and everything else, and they're saying that he's accused of making the whole thing up. Smollett was initially charged with one count of lying to the authorities on February 20th. A few days later, a grand jury indicted him on 16 felony counts of lying to authorities, 8 counts for what he told the officer who responded to the report of the January 29th attack in downtown Chicago, and 8 counts for what he later told a detective about being the victim of a brutal, racist, and homophobic beating by two masked men. So that was, uh, well, 16 felony counts to lying to authorities, 8 counts for what he told the officer on January 29th, and of course, the two masked men that allegedly beat Jussie Smollett. For his part, Smollett has always maintained his innocence after the charges were dropped. Tuesday, he posed with fans outside the courthouse and thanked his friends and family for standing by him. He also thanked the state of Illinois for attempting to do what's right. So Jussie Smollett pretty much thanked all the friends and family, and of course the courthouse and the attorneys and all that. So, that he's always maintained his innocence. That's what he's saying. Of course, he's going to continue to say that he's innocent because with all these city of Chicago police officers hiding everything, who knows what's buried underneath the lies that they don't want us to know. Leave your comments below, and I'm out.